everyone, and welcome back to S.A.G.E Holistic Health and Wellness Center, your holistic community. I'm your host, Emily, and it's time for another episode all about holistic well-being. Today, you're going to have me speaking to you about what holistic means to S.A.G.E, and we want to know what holistic means to you too. So please don't forget to take a moment to comment below and have a listen. Take care.
S.A.G.E is a 501c3 nonprofit organization building community by providing education and counseling about physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. We encourage all of our listeners to find their own path to what holistic wellness means to you.
Hi, so Emily Celis here. I'm going to take a moment today to speak with all of you about what holistic means, because I think this is a term that can be misrepresented or misunderstood or have a huge variety of interpretations. So I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit from me to you. And pardon me if I nerd out a little bit, because I just love this topic, and I began my love of this topic many years ago, so I just get really excited now that I'm able to be putting all of this into action and being able to contribute to the community at large with all this information. So my graduate thesis began with a quote, "The whole is greater than the sum of its parts." And this was a quote by Aristotle. The definition from dictionary.com says that incorporating the concept of holism, or the idea that the whole is more than merely the sum of its parts, is in theory or practice. So what is holistic, and what does that mean? What does it mean to S.A.G.E? I guess that would be a place for us to start. We believe that living a holistic life means that you're willing to see all the different beautiful pieces that make up the whole of who you are. So sometimes these parts are going to be humming along, life is going to be feeling really great, and then there's going to be other time where it feels like there's just monkey wrenches everywhere, that life is not humming along. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that this is part of life, and we move into these different spaces and places within ourselves and within our relationship with life that make it harder sometimes. So we believe that a holistic view on your life means that you're being courageous enough to look at things when everything is starting to not run as smoothly as you want, and be able to see which areas of your life might be a little bit out of balance. So the different domains that we work on with at S.A.G.E is the physical domain, mental, and spiritual. And these domains have a lot of different topics, a lot of different ways to approach them. So I think the important thing and the message that I want to get across to you today is that there is not one right way to approach these things. So you'll hear so many different people talking about a lot of different ways to approach physical health, for example, nutrition, diet, weight loss, exercise. I mean, you name it. It's just very, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it's where it's just inundated with the different ways to do this. And our theory is that it's not one way that's the right way. So it's trying to see what is speaking to you. If there's a specific way that is speaking out to you, there's a reason for that. And we want you to follow that, be curious about it, try and understand more about it, because this is going to be the key for what brings you balance and what brings you a very life-giving lifestyle. So that would be one thing we want to say. So regardless if that's information coming from us or from other sources, we want you to learn how to tune into yourself to be the one that can tell you whether or not something is going to be worth your while. So permission to use that term however you like it, whatever holistic means to you. It just is the freedom to create your own definition, and that your way is the right way, that there's no other way that's better. Another thing that I wanted to talk about on this episode is perfection versus progress. And the reason I bring that up is that even though I have a very keen interest in what holistic lifestyle means and living a balanced life, it by no means means that I am balanced in all areas of my life, because that is just part of the experience. So there will be times where even I'll see other people who look like they have it all together. But we all have 24 hours that we get to work with in a day, and we all get to choose what we want to focus on. So there might be other people that are focusing on other things than I'm focusing on, and vice versa. So it's really challenging when we look at other people and draw comparisons to say, oh, we're not that. So I think it's important to talk about perfectionism, because we don't want to have the pursuit of living a holistic life turn into a pursuit of perfectionism. Having the perfect body, having the perfect diet, having the perfect exercise regime, having the perfect hair and makeup, and having the perfect mental health, having perfect spirituality. There's having the perfect social life. There's just so many different ways that perfectionism can really drive and push us into a place of imbalance. And so I think that's important to bring some awareness to, because perfectionism can really take a lot of the joy out of living. I thought there was a really great quote by Brene Brown, and it's about perfectionism. It says, "Understanding the difference between healthy striving and perfectionism is critical to laying down the shield and picking up your life. Research shows that perfectionism hampers success. In fact, it's often the path to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis." I'd love to hear your thoughts about that quote, because I do think perfectionism is this strange thing where everyone's wanting to seek perfection, being able to feel really good about yourself for doing something really well. But I want to see us all be able to feel good about ourselves when we do something at all. When we're trying to better ourselves, I think that is a wonderful thing. And to be able to be okay with where we are and not get lost in that game of perfectionism, or lost in the game of comparison. Because that really does steal our joy, and like Brene Brown said, leads to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. I thought that was a great term, life paralysis, because that's really what can happen. And you'd think perfectionism means that we're going to do the opposite of that we're going to, be striving, and we're trying to do well, and we're trying to do all this. But what can end up happening is the life paralysis, where we're not actually living in our joy, and we're not actually living out our lives in a way that would be meaningful. So what can we do then? Instead of striving for perfectionism, is going to be continuing to just put one foot in front of the other. Maybe reevaluating what the goals are that you're trying to accomplish. Like I was saying before, getting curious about things that are speaking to you, or things that stand out to you. And Mark Twain, another quote from Mark Twain says, "Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection." So just getting out there and trying something, not trying to wait until the condition is just right for you to be able to do things in a way that make the most sense, but just putting one foot in front of the other. One small step a day is going to get you further than waiting for everything to be just right, or waiting for the conditions to be just right before you do something. So this is just a simple message today, just covering a few of those things, talking about what holistic means to S.A.G.E. Would love to learn about what your definition of holistic is, and really what that has to do is what your priorities are, what is most important to you. We also talked about the difference between progress and perfection, and I would love to hear in the comments below if you can share what's one thing in your life right now that you're focusing on as you strive to live a holistically balanced life. So we're so glad to have you as part of our community here at S.A.G.E. Holistic Health and Wellness Center. We hope you'll take a look at some of our classes and upcoming events. We do offer free events every month, and we hope to see you soon. Take good care.
Thank you for spending some of your time today with us at S.A.G.E. Holistic Health and Wellness Center. If you like what we're all about, please consider supporting our nonprofit organization by making a tax-deductible donation. To do this, you can go to our website at www.sagewellnessctr.org and click on Donate in the upper right-hand corner. We look forward to spending some time again with you real soon. Take good care.